Today we are reviewing the new horror movie from the minds behind ZombieCon Vol.1, and this one is called Autonomous. The format of this movie is like nothing we've ever seen before. Did we love it, or did it leave us wanting more? Let's find out on the Late Night Movie Podcast. Welcome back to the Late Night Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Welchy, and joining me tonight, as always, are my co-hosts, Mr. Pop Figures himself, Andy.
Hello, guys. Happy to be back. And yeah, very excited for this video, especially the second part, but also to hear what you guys think about the film. So, yeah.
And also joined by Mr. 10 out of 10 himself, Stephen.
Yes, hello, really lovely to be back as always, and yeah, cannot wait to get into all things autonomous. And you're absolutely right, Welchy. It's something that I haven't seen before, so yeah, lots to talk about, and a very, very special part to come as well.
Yes, so as you've obviously both alluded to, we have 2 episodes this week on the movie podcast. So this one will be a bit shorter than usual, around 45 minutes, but we do have a second episode coming this week, which will be our review. This is the review. Our interview with Erin, Anya and Kyle Valley, who we interviewed last year for ZombieCon Vol.1. They asked us if we would like to do another one for their latest movie, Autonomous. So they're coming back on. It'd be great to catch up with those guys, hear what they've been up to. Obviously, they've been up to this, anything else they've been up to, and get to ask questions about this and the format and everything around this movie, because it is certainly different to what we've watched before. So look forward to that episode that is coming the same week this review drops as well. So let's get straight into it. Autonomous. I normally start with like budgets, reviews and stuff. We don't know the budget on this. It's not, obviously you can't find it. We may find out later. I don't know. They may not want to talk about that, but not able to talk about that. This is a micro horror film. Now we'll get into what that means soon. But it's streaming exclusively on an app called Screamify, which is a horror app, a horror movie app, which is available in the UK, I think.
Yeah, well, I'd managed to download it. You have to be a member and to subscribe to it to be able to use it and stuff, but I didn't get that far. But
I know I'm the resident horror expert, but I have never heard of this app until we got the link to watch it. So I didn't even know that it was for here in the UK. So it's good to know that it is.
So first of all, thank you to Kyle and Erin for giving us a free screener, which meant we didn't have to subscribe. But if there's going to be more stuff like this on Screamify, then who knows? Maybe we will. So as we said, Kyle Valley, he is the director of this movie and producer as well. And Erin Anya, who we had on last year, is an actress in this movie, but also producer as well, which is exactly the same situation as they both had last year for ZombieCon Vol.1.
I'm assuming, sorry, Richard, they wrote it as well?
I should have wrote this down when I was watching the credits. There's someone else involved in the writing.
Oh, yes. No, you are right. There was one additional person, so they only directed and produced. But yeah, you are right. Now that you mentioned that,
I can't remember the name of the person. They might mention it in the interview. That's my bad.
Yeah.
But I do know the other actor's name, so obviously this is we'll get into the more details of the film. But also features Dominic Jungling, who plays Derek in this movie, and Erin Anya plays the character Amy. So the reason why this film is so different to what we're used to, it's more on its format. So this is a short film. We reckon it's around 30 to 35 minutes. There was no timer on it. We couldn't actually see a time. You'll understand why soon. But it is shot entirely in 9:16 format. For those who might not know what that is, call it TikTok format. It's vertical. This is a vertical movie meant to be watched on a phone or a device at least. It's episodic.
I wish you told us that before.
I knew.
You just yeah, but you didn't tell us. Sent us the link. I started watching it. I was like, oh, can I click full screen? Can I turn my phone sideways? That missed out. I was like, no, it has to be obviously vertical, whatever. And then I just removed everything from my screen to be able to watch it without all the mess around it sort of thing. But yeah.
I spent 10 minutes trying to screen mirror like I did for ZombieCon and like thinking to myself, why the hell is this not working? Why can I not change the screen? Why can I not press anything? Why can I not even check the little bar to see like the timing? And then I like literally messaged. I put, "Isn't this a movie?" And I just got 2 laughing emojis from both Andy and Welchy. I was like, "What have I said? Like, that's a legitimate question." So we discovered that for ourselves.
So I knew as soon as they sent me the link, I went on it to make sure it all worked. and I could see the format, and I was like, oh, okay, this is very different to what I'm used to.
Yeah.
And I just sent it to you guys and said, just FYI, this is nothing like we've ever seen before. Obviously,
Yeah.
reading it, you're just thinking, oh, wow, that means it's like this incredible movie that we've never seen before. And I went, well, the topic is something we haven't seen before, personally.
Yeah.
But I was more talking the format. So
Yeah.
it's episodic.
We learned that the hard way.
Episodic in that you scroll through this movie. So they call them episodes on IMDb, and I think even on the Screenplay app they're called episodes.
Yeah.
There's 16 of them, and you're scrolling through them. I think they're around a minute to 2 minutes long. The last one felt a little bit longer, but there also was credits on that one, so maybe that was why.
Yeah.
And as I was getting to, so you're scrolling through the movie, so it feels like almost scrolling through an app like TikTok or Instagram, whatever it is. Which I'm very interested to talk to Carl and Erin about that kind of feature. But yeah, it's meant to feel, I guess, like the new age of social media, which they definitely hit that feeling for sure. So the blurb on IMDb says this, it's very short. A couple boards a Gomo, a self-driving rideshare cab, only to find themselves trapped with no way out. Which is a good way of describing this movie without any spoilers, which is very good. They've managed to find a way not to spoil that. But yes, this is basically a horror movie set in a car. I think there's 2 episodes which have footage outside of the car, being the first and the last. The rest of it is all set in the car, following Amy and the other character's name is Derek. Their night out, or the end of their night out. They've just been out for a meal. They're in a relationship, and they've not had the best time on their meal. They're not they're having disagreements, arguments in this vehicle, this rideshare vehicle. Rideshare? Yeah, rideshare. It's like a self-driving one. Yeah. And they soon realize actually they've gone past where they were supposed to be going, down a road they're supposed to be going, and this vehicle has taken them on its own path. And then things escalate from there. So the actual concept of that, the story of that, was really interesting to me straight away because it's relevant to today's world. And I'm going to bring this up with Carl and Erin. I got an email today from Uber. I don't know if you've had this email from Uber.
Oh, it wasn't about like cars that drive themselves from Uber, was it?
So this was yesterday. And it says, be first in line for autonomous rides. I was like,
oh, no way. Not to watch it.
Do you know, you were like, no, you're all right. Stick to a driver, mate.
It says, don't miss out. Join the interest list for updates and a chance to try Wave autonomous rides available exclusively through the Uber app.
I definitely wouldn't want to be one of the first people trying it either.
No, I watched this movie at the wrong time because that email popped up.
If there's you don't generally want to be guinea pigs for these new child developments generally, but for a motor vehicle, you must be off your nut if you think I'm getting first line for that.
There's a lot of things where it's cool to say you're the first one to do it, like land on the moon, and like, there's cool things. The marathon runner recently did it in under 2 hours and stuff. Like, first one to do it, great. You're not going to go to your mates and say, oh yeah, I was the first one to drive a riderless cab. You're like, all right, okay.
And that's if you get back in one piece as well. So no, I'll let to see how that goes.
It's an extremely relevant topic, especially for me getting that email yesterday. By the way, that's just in London. I think they're trialing it at the minute.
Cool.
And obviously it's also relevant because it's formatted to be, in my mind, like a social media flick. Like you're flicking through the story that way. And also, funny enough, this week, I don't normally get this, but I finally got a TikTok pop up on my feed, and it was a whole movie. It was a whole of, what movie was it? Toy Story 3. Just on TikTok in one, I could slide along and watch the whole thing in one. It wasn't even scrollable.
I only usually get those if I go on Steven's page, but first time you've pretty experienced them.
Wow. I just took me a moment to process what the joke of that was, and I realised the other ones that come up all the time, it's like these ads for TikTok that normally centers on like a couple who are cheating on each other, and then it goes on and on and on. And then if you scroll, you then never see the end, but they never feel like they end anyway.
I have seen some of those actually. Yeah.
And like they're really bad. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not giving it like movie of the year. Like they're really terribly acted generally most of the time, but they're kind of so bad that you're then getting gross. So I think I've done like a whole hour of work while I've just had it in the background, and then every so often I'll go, oh, oh, she's about to get home and he's having the affair. Like, don't go in the door. You like, it's one of those sort of weird concepts, but it isn't a scrolling feature
Right.
where it's just a long, like an ad promotion.
Yeah.
And I've never seen an aspect like that where you're scrolling to every different episode.
And I guess TikTok wouldn't ever be like that because it wants to just show you something new, something similar.
Unless you were on someone's page,
yes, agreed.
and you went in chronological order in each part, then
Yeah,
you would have.
but you only need to watch one part to then get interested in it. Go to their page, go to part 1 if it isn't already part 1, and then you start watching the whole short film, whatever it is. But I agree with you. I haven't seen anything of high quality on there yet. I always think it's some sort of like promotion or some weird AI generated like film. So maybe if we was to get higher quality on TikTok, and maybe this is part of the start of it with films like this.
I wonder if
there's definitely scope for it.
Screamify should be able to easily TikTokify this. As in, obviously they want people to subscribe to them, so they don't want to put all 16 episodes on TikTok. But what they could quite easily do is put the first one on there, the first 2-minute part, and people go, "Oh shit, you know what? I want to see where this goes." And then it says in the description saying, "Oh, watch the full movie on the Screamify app," and all of a sudden you're getting a few people paying £3 a month, even if they're cancelling. If they keep making these short movies, you never know; it could come into something a niche that they found.
The only issue with TikTok is I don't think they like people posting saying like, go over here, because then obviously they're losing part of their viewership sort of thing. Whether they allow that or not, or it could be a collab with 2 different sort of streaming services.
Yeah. The other thing that I had in my mind, which I don't think anyone is doing, that there's a real scope for this to become quite interactive. I could see a vision where if you're scrolling on your phone, a bit like sort of like an Until Dawn, where it says like choose which path they go down, or you've got to hold the phone to save them. Like there's definitely scope for this kind of art form to incorporate that. And as I was going through it, I was thinking there's something here. So I'd be interested to see if like Eric I've got those ideas. I don't know how easy that is, on whether that's something that's actually happening.
You have to film so many more scenes because obviously if you give them options, you have to have a scene for both options. And it works in this case particularly well because obviously there's 2 kind of things going on. There's the ride, which is going on its own and going to a bad place. But you've got the argument as well. So you can get involved in the discussion or the arguments that they're having. Say you play or you're choosing for Aaron's character, Amy. And he says something, and you can choose how you would want to respond to it, and then it branches off. Problem is the amount of filming then becomes ridiculous, and then making the story link up. These games that do that, they're not easy to make. So it's but in a short form, it's probably a little bit easier.
Yeah, I also wonder if there was an inspiration from like doing this in terms of like Black Mirror, in terms of like not just the idea is very Black Mirror-y, but also like Black Mirror did a Bandersnatch, which then became an interactive thing on a much wider scale. So I wonder, Big Mike called to ask later, like, was that any form of inspiration? Because it's definitely like, if someone said to you, this is the idea that they've got for a film, I could hear people going, Black Mirror, that's a very Black Mirror sort of idea in terms of how technology could change. So I was also kind of getting those sort of vibes throughout the watch. I can't say watching the film because it's not really. It sounds weird when you say it like that.
It's because it's so different. If it was all back to back to back without scrolling, you'd say it's a film, a short film.
Yeah.
It's the scrolling that makes it feel different. Andy looked like he was about to say something.
No, on my one, I didn't actually have to scroll though. It just automatically done it. Was you guys having to scroll by yourselves when you watched it?
I think I had to. Or maybe I wasn't.
Because at first when you mentioned Welchy, when you could see the bar like sort of not being able to sort of go back or forward within the actual episode itself. So I then went up and down. I was like, oh no, that's switching between different episodes. And that's obviously when I figured out it's one sort of short film in all these different sort of episodes. So just went up one, went back to the start, played it, and then it just went through it all in one go without any scrolling.
It probably did it automatically for me as well, but I naturally I saw the bar get to the end, and then once it ended, I went like that. Scroll. I probably didn't need to do that.
True.
But like, sure.
Yeah. Well, we should probably go into our actual thoughts. We spoke for 15 minutes about what the film is. what do we think of it? So we're going to do the usual 2-minute reviews that we all have. And then we will go into a few more details and branch out from there. Who wants to start? Let's start with Stephen. You watched it most recently. I've got my timer on 11 minutes. That is way too long. 2 minutes. What did you think of Autonomous?
Okay, so Autonomous is something that I have never quite seen before, as we've already alluded to, and I had an enjoyable time with this. As I said, it was nothing what I imagined, and it is a very, very different beast to their previous work in ZombieCon Vol.1. I think it's very, very interesting that they went from sort of the blood splatter and the big action set piece of ZombieCon in terms of a stripped down, short sort of it happening in one place, kind of having no blood at all. There was one moment where you could argue there was a little bit towards the very end, but nothing on the same scope of the gallons of blood that was used in ZombieCon. And I wonder if they wanted to do something a bit more psychological, a lot more creepier, and at times sort of very, very intense, where there were those moments in ZombieCon, but it was more sort of labelled with the action sort of horror. I thought performances were really good. I think the use of AI is a really strong message. There is a real horror of technology malfunctioning and causing us real issues. It's out there, and I mentioned it earlier where I see lots of similarities in Black Mirror, where you watch episodes of Black Mirror and you go, either that could easily happen or things in Black Mirror have actually happened in real life. Obviously, there's an aspect of this that is a bit more far-fetched, but the actual use of the AI itself, I could 100, even 1,000% see that happening in real life if we start going down the autonomous route, which it looks like we are. I also quite like the realism between Derek and Amy's relationship. And actually, there's another sub-horror going on with trouble relationships. Like, up in that moment where you're in a car and you're having a disagreement and argument, it is not a nice place to be. And I felt that was quite an interesting take, that you have that going on to then have a really bad situation precede it as well. And I thought that we had just about enough time to know the basics of Derek and Amy's relationship to actually care that when the storm comes. I thought that was done really well. And finally, I like the mystery. There's a lot that you're kind of sitting there thinking, what's going to happen? What was that all about? And I quite like, because it was a short, I quite like that it was an unanswered question. I think if it was a longer movie, I get more annoyed where I'm like, well, why leave me with this? But it gives them properly scope to do something similar, or maybe expand on the universe or the story in a future work. But yeah, it was enjoyable. It was definitely enjoyable.
And what score out of 10?
Probably go 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like I said, I think for what it was and the timing of it, you know, it had a lot of little horror tropes where I was like going, oh, that's a reference from X or Y. And you can see it's made by people that absolutely love the genre. So yeah, it's great to see that they've been doing something completely different. The versatility is definitely there.
Cool. Andy, your turn. What did you think of Autonomous?
Autonomous is a fun short film. Yeah, I had a fun time watching it. Like we've already spoken about, I thought the format of the film was obviously different and unique, and something that I'm interested to see sort of going forward, whether they do a sort of part 2 to this or sort of use this as a new format going forward, especially if this Screamify app starts to become more popular. Then I can see sort of more sort of films like this being sort of put out there. It sort of reminds me, after watching Obsession on my TikTok, I've been seeing loads of shorts with the director of Obsession. I forgot his name. Curry Parker.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Sort of watching his shorts and then watching this, I was like, oh, there's similar things with that, because obviously his shorts are sort of, some of them are horror based in that as well. But yeah, no, I thought the storyline was very unique and sort of relevant to sort of, like you say, today's sort of AI sort of aspects that are going on in life right now. Like, are we going to start seeing these selfless driving cars in the future? Based on what you said, Welchy, with the email that you received, it's obviously not too far away.
Good luck,
so it's the thing with sort of all these new things that come out is you get people that try to exploit them, and I think this is a perfect example of that. This new thing that could be really helpful to millions of people being exploited for bad things. But yeah, I thought the filming was done really well. It'd be interesting to ask them both sort of questions around that in terms of sort of budget for this, how long it took them to film it and stuff compared to ZombieCon. But yeah, no, I thought there was mystery there, and it, like Stephen said, obviously with it being a short, you don't get the full answer to everything, like why is this happening, and I think that leaves you wanting more. So whether they just leave it like that and then it's down to your imagination to what happens at the end, or whether they come out and say this is part two to Autonomous, and then you get to find out more about all the mystery that's involved. But yeah, no, I thought it was really well done from both of them. I also gave the same score as Stephen, 7 out of 10. I think it is important as well to sort of take the budget into consideration with these sort of films, because if they've managed to film something like this on a really low budget, then that's even more impressive and potentially would take my score up, sort of thing.
Very, very good. Cool. My turn. 2-minute review of Autonomous. Let's go. So, for me, Autonomous is, again, like you guys have said, a good movie. I think, like Andy just literally alluded to, you do have to take budget into consideration. And even without that, this is better than some of the movies we've seen this year. Like, think about Resident Evil. Think about Silent Hill.
Oh, God.
The budget that film had compared to what we imagine, we don't know, obviously, but we know we do know it's not the same as the Silent Hill movie. It's night and day. Like, I was genuinely interested in this, and obviously not Silent Hill. I liked the story. I liked the concept of the driverless cars and how scary that could be and probably will be. And I completely agree with what you've said, that this will probably happen. Not all of what this film does. We won't go into the spoiler stuff, but the idea of a car driving off on its own, doing its own thing, whether that's just on its own or whether someone's hacking it or whatever it is. And I can 100% see a news article one day saying I was in a driverless car and it went off on its own way and I got lost, that kind of thing. I can see the article now in my head. So I think it's a really cool concept. And I also liked like you said, the back and forth between Amy and Derek. And I also like that he had this preconceived hate of AI for other reasons anyway. Which I thought was really good and linked into then being in this AI car. So I thought it was really well actually written, directed. Everything was really good. I think getting used to the vertical format will take more than just one movie. Like, I don't think I'm now converted and think I want to see all my movies in vertical. I think I can see something there. I do think that they're not that they're onto something. I don't know if we'll find out later if it was their choice or Screamify said, would you fancy trying it? I'm really interested in the different directing techniques and how different they are to do things. But overall, I think they did a really good job. I enjoyed my time and I would recommend it. It's, like we said, 30 minutes long. I definitely think it's 30 minutes not wasted, and I think it's a good time. My time is up. Press the button. And well worth a watch. And I think if you're interested in particularly in that kind of storyline of what AI or driverless vehicles could be and that kind of the horror side of that, they hit the nail on the head. So I would give it a 7 as well. And I would say that part of that is just because, like Andy said, if I'm giving Resident Evil, I think I gave it 3. This is miles beyond that. And then you consider
Silent Hill.
Sorry, I keep saying Resident Evil. Resident Evil might be good. Resident Evil could be good. Silent Hill, sorry. This is miles ahead of that film. Fuck me. And on much less budget, it deserves at least double, if not more. So I do think it's a good movie.
It'd be interesting to see what they could do on a bigger budget, because I think like both the films that we've watched so far, the budget that they've had and the standards that they've done it to has been really good. So it'd be interesting to see if they had a bigger budget, what they would do on that sort of scale. And I'd be definitely
100%. You can see the creative potential that is there, and I think if you gave them much more scope and more money to do bigger and bolder things, then I think that the 2 movies I've seen so far have been of really good quality. Also, this is 1,000 times better than fucking Backrooms as well. Like, and I know obviously, like,
more importantly for you two, Passenger, because obviously Passengers are pretty similar.
This
concept.
Is so much better. This is so much better than Passenger.
Okay.
Like, the thing is with, and again, I suppose maybe it would be unfair to Passenger in a way, because this is a 30-minute short. That is a full feature-length movie, so it is probably not the fairest of comparison. But like what Passenger did is it had a really good concept, but it ruined it. And I know that, and again, I'm not going to give any spoilers for this. This does float between the use of AI and something else, but that something else could be a million and one different things. You could read it in a number of different ways, where in Passages they go fully down the paranormal route, and I just feel like that, to make it scary, it didn't need to be. We said before, it could have been more effective of that whole feeling of fear, drive down a dark country lane and thinking someone's out to get you, rather than make it all paranormal. So yeah, I think that in that sense, this is much better, but equally it's difficult to compare, because if this had been maybe a feature length, like hour and a half, would it been able to sustain
what they did in 30 minutes?
What it actually did in 30 minutes.
Agreed.
So
I think that's what makes this better, though, because like where it's a short film, I feel like they've ended it just at the right time, where they've got almost two sort of different stories that eventually sort of colliding together as the short goes on. If that then went on for longer, I might have started to lose interest in both the stories together, where it's like focus on one and see what you can do with that. But where they've ended it, it leaves you with the mystery of what could happen, sort of thing, or what has happened. And it's not revealing that to us was a good thing.
It's sort of a little bit like a sort of teaser. And actually, in more recent years, some of the best horror movies, like Smile, began as a short, which was about a 15-minute short. I remember watching that after Smile, and you watch that and you go, wow, there's so much potential. And that was then used to then create Smile and then Smile 2. So some of the best horror movies that we've had over the last few years have started as life as a short. And I would always recommend it, just people out there who are into horror, like even on YouTube, if you just type in horror shorts, you come across some real gems. I've watched ones late at night before that have generally unsettled me more than like 50% of the mainstream horror movies that you go and watch. So there's definitely something there, and there's a market for shorts, particularly in the horror genre. So I think it's interesting that they've stumbled across that, and they've done a really good job with it as well.
Yeah, I think shorts are starting to become more popular now as well, especially after big hits. Like, I know you didn't like Backroom, Stephen, but it's done really well financially with how much it's made, and Obsession obviously being one of the #1 films. Like, those directors started with shorts and stuff, so I think people are going to watch those films, and I haven't had the chance to yet, but I definitely want to go back and watch some of Curry Baker's short films that he done now, all horrors. So yeah, there's definitely a newer market for it as well.
It's a good time to step into it, definitely.
Yeah, and this had all the elements of a horror movie. Like, I was watching it thinking, when you're typically watching a horror movie, you're like, do not do that. Like, you wouldn't do that if that was happening in real life, which is what all horror movies do, and you get frustrated by it, because it's like, why, like, when it starts to go wrong and there's almost like no reaction to them sort of still being calm about the situation. I'd be like, as soon as it starts going down the wrong way, I'd be panicking and like trying to get out of the car, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that's what all horror movies do, so they've done that well as well.
Yeah. But also they were so focused on the argument as well that it's almost like over, almost thinking not really thinking about it too much. Yeah, until it's.
But that's what I kind of like, the first half, as I alluded to earlier, like in the 2 minutes, that it starts as more of a domestic drama, that you're feeling that sort of tension, a bit like what we spoke about with Obsession, that it keeps you at that level of real social anxiety, and it's awkward. It's, I've been in an argument in a couple is a horrible situation to be in, and then about halfway through that you then imagine being in an argument and going, hang on a minute, why are we going in the opposite way to a home? Like, you're pissed off because you're in an argument in a foul mood, and then that would just top off your night. But then it becomes very clear, and that kind of goes into the subline, and actually they then start thinking, oh, I'm really sorry for saying that. I was thinking, if that was me, I would have gone, could you have not why do we have to get to that? Why do we have to get to a point that we're nearly on the verge of death for a car driving us down the wrong direction, for you to then say, I'm really sorry for behaving like a dick? Like, come on, people. We don't need that in the first place.
But even in their arguments, like, they would say something, and I was like, "Oh no, you shouldn't have said that. Like, that is the wrong thing."
I was like that.
Both of them.
Yeah.
There's one part in particular with, and I don't think this is for anything, but when Derek asked Amy something about,
do you think of being with him or something? Or,
yeah, and I was like, say no, and she does it. And I'm like, that was the wrong choice.
The other one is when she gets that text, and then he goes, "Who is that?" And then she goes, "Nothing." I was like, "No, that's not good." And then to worse, said, "Where were you on Tuesday?" I was like, "Oh no, the cat's out of the bag." Like, I can't remember the guy's name. It was like, was he there? Yes, he was, Derek. Case closed. Yeah, that was it.
Before we wrap up our review of this, I'm interested what you think. Let's compare them, ZombieCon and Autonomous. Personally, I lean towards ZombieCon, not just because it's a longer standard movie, as in when I say standard in the format. I just think that kind of story worked more for me, and I also think because of the length, maybe I'm being harsh, but I got to care for characters more, and I got to care about their endings and where the story was going. And there was genuine I think we said when we reviewed it, like 2 or 3 actual moments where I went, oh shit, like jumped. And I did love the use of the blood in that movie, so I think I would lean towards it, but not as in this is bad. It's more just I just think that hit the spot for me a little bit more.
I think for me, I'd be leaning more towards ZombieCon as well, but that, just because it felt more relatable to me and stuff with like Comic Cons and that, I just thought it was such a cool idea, and I'd never seen it before, sort of thing. So I'd definitely love to see, like, if I was going to choose, would I rather see another Autonomous Part 2 or ZombieCon Part 2, like a sequel? Then I'd choose ZombieCon, sort of thing, because I'd want more stuff relating to the Comic Con side of things, and obviously zombies as well.
Do you know,
favorite, but
if I just interject, because I would normally lean to ZombieCon. However, I think it's really difficult because they are two very, very
so
different.
They are,
And like, I agree with you. I love Comic Cons, so the idea of ZombieCon and like I love seeing Vitruvius' blood and all of that in horror was lovely. And I didn't expect ZombieCon to be as great as it was. Like it really surpassed my expectations. Now my expectations are obviously quite high when you've watched something that you're like, that's really good. So I went into this expecting, I've now seen what they can do, so this should be decent. I think if this had been a full-length movie and they had found more ways of connecting the two or expanding on it, I like the idea of the AI. I'm more interested in that than a Comic Con that turns into zombies, but I enjoy that more, if that makes sense. It's like the actual horror idea of AI would probably freak me out more than a Comic Con where people turned into a massive zombie apocalypse. But you can't really compare the two because one's a full-length movie and one's a short.
And I'm going to go counteract my last comment, because Andy said about what he'd rather the sequel of. Even though I prefer ZombieCon, I actually think I'd be more interested in seeing where they go with this. But again, then you could argue, is that just because this was so short and I want more?
Yeah, I get what you mean, but obviously my argument to that is what I always say with horror films is, like, as soon as they reveal what the thing is, I then get like, I don't find it as interesting. Whereas like where they've just left it as a bit of unknown, that's more exciting to me. Whereas with like ZombieCon, like there's 1,000 ideas they could do with ZombieCon, sort of thing. It could be another ZombieCon and loads of zombies break out in actual sort of Comic-Con area, or like celebrities getting turned into zombies, sort of thing. I think that'd be like a really cool idea. But yeah,
I have a question for you, Andy, on the back of that. Do you think that there will ever be a movie where they reveal that you would find it interesting, or is it just generally across the board once it reveals the entity causing the issues? Is that naturally for you? You're then not as
it's interested? Just as soon as you see it, it's just less scary for me. So it's like, and I think that probably for most people, like once you know, it's more scary when you don't know what the thing is that's haunting you. Sort of thing. So as soon as you get an idea or like a face on that, it's like, I can put a face to that now. It's not. It's not something unknown.
Have you seen Paranormal Activity, Andy, the first one?
No, I haven't.
That's your dream film. That's your dream film.
Waiting for it to re-release in cinemas to have a chance to watch it properly.
Even the ending, you don't really see much. Definitely, the only thing I would disagree on in that sense, and like Smile's a perfect example where you actually see it is. I have those moments where you still get shivers down your spine.
I had that moment with Smile and then thought it was so clever how they done Smile 2, because they almost took away what you saw at the end of Smile 1, and it went back to being this unknown thing. And then I'm like, oh shit, like I didn't have high hopes of Smile 2 based on how Smile 1 ended, but then it quickly switched around as soon as I sort of been into that film. How they done that, you still don't know what it is in Smile 2, sort of thing. So I thought that added more to the franchise, sort of thing.
It'd be interesting if like Andy watches a horror movie where he sees something that scares him so much when the actual entity is revealed that he then goes, oh, okay, because I feel like, but I do get it. I get it. That
don't get me wrong. Like if it's from the beginning, like I can still find it scary and freaky. Like Longlegs, for example, Nicolas Cage's character, seeing the way that he looks, like that's terrifying, sort of thing. Pennywise, like if it's something that's hidden the entire film and then revealed, and it's not like that's scary looking, that's when like I'm put off by it, sort of thing. Not put off by it, it's still good films, but
I would have said before as well, Art the Clown, but memes have completely ruined that for me. Where if I just see Art, I just laugh because TikTok has ruined that. Sort of the memes of when he's like got the smiley face on and the eyes of like, this is how you're gonna look like when you're going to work in the morning. I'm like, say no, it's funny.
Yeah. But I do think there's a lot of direction they can go for either film. So even with Autonomous, like there's so much they can do just with the AI stuff. Like with just being trapped in the car alone can be scary without any of the outside stuff. Like imagine the car going towards like the path that it's taking is taking you towards the end of a cliff or something,
Exactly,
and you're
yeah.
stuck in the car trying to get out within
Yes.
like 30 minutes or something. Like
Yeah.
stuff like that is scary too. So they've got a lot of creative ability with both films, I think.
Cool. Well, that is our review of Autonomous. As we said, we will have an interview out with Kyle and Erin at the end of the week. Not the end of the week, a couple of days' time when this drops. So look forward to that. We're excited to do it in 30 minutes. But before that, we do have 10 to 15 minutes to quickly go through what else we have been watching. I'll briefly touch on mine, so then I can leave it to you to talk more. I finally saw Toy Story 5. I took the kids and Tay to see it yesterday. Yesterday. And I think it's a good film. I am nowhere near as high as you two were on it. I think you gave it a 9.5
I saw your
each.
rating on that book.
Yeah, I gave it 9.5.
I do think this is better than 4, I think. I've watched 4 a lot to the point where I now kind of enjoy it still. Like, don't get me wrong, they're all enjoyable films, but you know what I mean? Like, I find good parts in 4, and it's gonna be tough until this comes streamable and I have to watch this 1,000 times with the kids. It'll be tough to know how it is on like a repeat watch, like the others are. 1 to 3 will never be touched. They just never will be touched. If they ever do, then they've hit the jackpot. But I just don't think they ever will. I think it's a great. I'd give it like an 8, and I give it an 8 because I gave Hoppers an 8. And I would say Hoppers is better than this. I thoroughly enjoyed Hoppers. I've now watched Hoppers at least 10 times, by the way, because that's become streamable.
Hang on, I'm just going to pause. I gave Hoppers a 10, and I gave Toy Story 5 a 9.5. So yeah, I'm in agreement with you. Yeah, I said it like really shocked, and then I thought, hang on a minute, I gave Hoppers a 10. Yeah. So yeah, I am in agreement with that.
The difficulty is a new original movie is always going to go higher in my estimations because of how original. It's not the most original movie ever made, but it's still original. So I came away from that again only an 8, which is say only an 8 is very good. But Toy Story 5 8. I think I'd give Toy Story 4 an 8 as well. If I went back, maybe where I need time to decide that. But they're both below 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
There was one joke which was very funny in this film though. It's where he says he's gonna wipe your, and then the hand shuts his mouth.
And like all the adults are smiling and the kids are just standing there with a blank face on. Do you also see, Welchy, when I was saying in my review, how I feel like it's like a direct sequel to Toy Story 2
in a way?
100%.
And I loved all that shit. I nearly cried twice. It was it touched the right spots, but that's
Did you? I spoke to someone who said that they cried as soon as they heard the instrumental of When Somebody Loved Me, because as soon as they hear that song, it's just waterworks. Yeah. But it was the bit with when you find out what she called her kid, where I was like,
that's horrendous. That's the worst
I'm
bit.
fucking gone, man.
There was a bit.
I was like, I can't believe you've done this.
There was a bit in the beginning that almost got me, and I can't even remember what it was. I don't know if it was when Bonnie was
maybe
sad
was it to Bonnie and her reaction
I can't
to the
remember.
kids.
Something really hit me. And
that was the question I wanted to ask.
And as you say, because I've got kids, it just makes it all worse.
I was about to say, we were speaking about it briefly of the whole, like the cyberbullying aspect to it. So that must have, from a parent's perspective, really kind of hit what Bonnie was sort of going through.
I think I imagined my daughter going through it and thinking, fuck, that's not good.
Yeah.
Luckily, she's not at an age where kids are like messaging each other yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how long that's going to last. So I'll have to be much warier when that happens. But I thought it was good. And I completely agree with all your comments about Lilypad, by the way, about not being a villain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
you had to really skate through that because you hadn't watched it. So that was tough. Honestly, I was like, we did a good job.
I will say I'm not too keen on the whole Buzz thing.
Oh, I like that.
No.
I thought that was cool.
Of going to drones?
The army of them. I wasn't the whole. Every time I went back to that subplot, I was like, okay, whatever. But anyway, let's move on to what you guys have been watching. Stephen, very interested in your thoughts on Jackass.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I went to see Jackass last night. I would say I'm not a huge fan of Jackass. When I say that, I have watched the show, and I now will be going back and watching the movie. I think I've seen maybe number 2 and the one in 3D. I'd never seen any on the big screen up until yesterday when I went. Obviously, this is the last. They say it's the last one, but it really does feel like it is the last one. But how it starts, now it ends, I was like, yeah, that's a really nice way to end if this is the end. And because they're all on Paramount Plus, I will go back and watch them, because now I've been watching clips today. Because what is really good about Best and Last is that it shows new stuff, but it also kind of does like either stuff that they've wanted to show, but MTV up to this point have said, you cannot show that in any shape or form. And it also has done kind of like its best bits. So like their all-time greatest pranks are in this movie. So it kind of switches between.
Hand?
Oh, the massive hand, yeah.
That's in the trailer,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, that is absolutely there. So I had a lot of fun with the movie. I love the slapstick stunts, and some of them I really felt the pain. And as a bloke, you really feel it. It more so in this movie than any others. There was one that I went, oh fuck, like out loud, but it was acceptable because I think I had a guy sitting to my right, and we both literally went like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like all of that I really love. The ones that I'm sort of less keen on are the ones that involve sort of like the vomit and the thing. I mean, there are some in there that are absolutely disgusting.
That's one of the ones I remember the most from like one of the other films, is when he's like farting into like the tube thing, and he's like connected up to it and he's got the helmet on, and he just vomits, and like that like sticks in my mind and makes me really terrified.
So there is one in this which was just like absolutely like just so revolted, particularly when you've got like you've had a pork dog, you've had churros with chocolate, and then popcorn, which is the food I brought into the cinema, and I knew that. I was like, I need to eat this before the movie starts. I cannot eat. And there were bits, but like as soon as that happened, you're like, I've just eaten churros with chocolate. And there's one bit where if you guys go and watch it, you'll know exactly what I mean. It is absolutely foul. And I've gone through that medical procedure, so it hit me even more because it's just. Ugh. So I'm less keen on that, but then I still found it painfully funny. So even though I was like, that is actually gross, I found it funny. But the slapstick stuff for me, there's one, I don't know if this was actually the show and it's not really spoiled. There's one including where they mess around at a golf course. I'd never seen that before, whether it is in the show, but I literally howled with laughter at that bit.
What do they do on it?
So basically, there's guys that are playing golf and they hide in the trees, and every time they're about to putt, they blow a ball horn. Yeah. I'd never seen that before, and I fucking died of laughter because there's one point where he actually like starts throwing the ball at him, and then saying, "You do that again, I'm gonna fucking come in and kick you ass." I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do it again. Gets to it. He's like a 60-year-old bloke, and every single time it was so funny. It actually was quite heartfelt at the end, sort of like the big show-stopping stunt that they do at the end. It's sort of one of those movies that goes in and out. I laughed all the way through. I would easily watch it again, and obviously anyone that has been like watching Jackass since it's come out, like this is a no-brainer to go and watch on the big screen. They do a post-credit scene. You have to wait to the very end, but the lady to my right went, "I'm not sitting through this. Fuck off." Literally stood up and walked out because they take the piss. Like, it is really funny. You're expecting something really great at the end, and it's not. But I think she's had enough. She's had enough of what she's been put for. I think it's one of those where probably the husband has said, "Look, date night tonight. Do you know what we go and watch? Let's go and watch Jackass Best and Last." But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And like I said, I'm going to go back and re-watch all the movies and maybe even the TV show. Even if I won't watch it when I eat. But outside of that, I will definitely watch.
Just looking, it's currently got 20 million. It's made. Be interesting to see where that ends up.
It's got a good score as well. It's got 89 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Obsession has overtaken Hoppers.
Wow,
that is so good. Yeah. And Backrooms is probably going to do it as well. By the way, probably going to overtake Hoppers.
Yeah, that's mental too.
It's still in the cinema now. Like I keep saying I'm seeing it a third time, but we were from having to keep delay because things have come up. So we hopefully will be seeing it on Tuesday, but they are still screening and they're still basically like nearly packed out as well. It's unbelievable. I'm so proud of Obsession.
Toy Story 5 has already overtaken Project Hail Mary.
Yeah,
it will probably come at least number 2, if not number 1, by the end of it.
We've still got Odyssey, we've still got Avengers, Spider-Man. Like that battle for number 1 is huge this year. Just go back to Jack, I spoke to you. I'd rate that an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5, cool.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Andy, we've got 5 minutes. I know we've got your Supergirl, Stephen, but we might have to.
We can save that till next week. Yeah, no problem.
You watched 7 Psychopaths.
Yeah, so after I chose obviously the new film for the Rotten Tomatoes game, Wild Horse 9, and then Jack mentioned that he'd watched 2 of the films from the same director, I thought, you know what? He said one of them was Netflix, one on Netflix, Googled it, searched it, saw it was on there, and decided to watch it to see, sort of get a feel for what his sort of films are like. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was, yeah, I can't remember which year it came out, but it's probably one of the.
I think it was 2012.
I feel like it was older than that, but I might be wrong. But yeah, obviously I watched In Bruges a long time ago and knew obviously you guys or Stephen raves about that. But yeah, it had Colin Farrell in it, Sam Rockwell, and starting to really appreciate, especially Sam Rockwell more. Like Colin Farrell, I know is good and has done a lot of stuff that I like. Sam Rockwell, I've pretty only seen in a couple of things, but more stuff recently, like Mobland with Tom Hardy, some other gangster films. But yeah, no, those two working together, I can see that any film that they're in where they are together can sort of be big films. And I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It's very unique sort of story to it, and I don't want to give too much away because I feel like if you go into it and watch it completely sort of blind on it, you'll enjoy it more. So I don't want to give anything away on the story. But yeah, it's one that I definitely recommend, and it's a really good piece of work from the director. And I love all the dialogue and the whole plot. The whole plot with this movie is fantastic and different, and I haven't seen anything else like this before. So yeah, it was really fun to watch for me.
Do you understand when I say that the third act just goes completely and utterly off its mind in Seven Psychopaths? Like it's so good.
Yeah, definitely. It paints a picture on something, on how you think it's going to be, and then just completely switches up. And the way that they tell that is like, it's genius. I think it's genius writing from the director.
Also, I'm pat on the back. It did come out 2012. Great memory from yours truly. Only because though that director, I just love that. I feel like Colin Farrell's funny generally, but I've never seen him in any funnier film than, I mean, Seven Psychopaths great, but In Bruges is one of like the best. It's in my top 3 best written movies that I've ever seen.
Very good.
Like the dialogue is like it's quite like peels off the wall. I kind of put up there, like, I don't know if any of you saw Sexy Beast with Ray Winstone and Ben Kingsley. If you want to watch like sharply written dialogue and it's so funny but yet it's terrible, it's kind of in the same vein of that. But In Bruges is just a masterpiece.
It's made me want to go watch the rest of his films because you can tell he's got a unique way of directing, and
massively.
All the films that I've watched so far of his are like very similar in the ways that they are done. And I feel like I haven't watched the Banshee one. I don't know if you've watched that, Stephen, or the 3 Billboards one.
I don't think I have. No.
It's made me want to go watch them, and excited also for the new one that's coming out.
Yeah.
Before you give your score out of 10, just to let you know that Haaland has just scored on the 80th minute.
What, 1-0?
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Norway are beating Brazil 1-0. Erling Haaland again.
I literally, do you know what's really weird? I was just checking that, to be fair, as you were talking, to see if it is. And obviously I don't really care too much, but Brazil are in my sweepstakes. So if they go out, that I've then got to rely on.
Hopefully not England.
I've got England as my last remaining team.
Andy, what score would you give Second Psychopaths? 7?
I wanted to give it I wanted to give it a 10 out of 10 because I really enjoyed it that much. But then I thought, I know he has other films, and I heard they like go up to another level sort of thing. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, thinking that one of those films is going to top this one, and then I'll give that one a 10 out of 10. But yeah, 9 out of 10 is. I'd recommend it to anyone if you like that sort of those sort of films, you'll love it.
Did you say 9?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I would give In Bruges a 10, and I would give Seven Psychopaths a 9. So you're bang on the money on that.
Okay, so that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Late Night Movie Podcast. I've just had a message from Erin and Kyle, so we need to wrap it up. Let us know what you thought of Autonomous, if you've seen it or if you're going to watch it. Drop your thoughts in the comments or tag us on socials at the Late Night Pods. We'd love to hear from you. You can also join our Discord using the link in the description so you can get your thoughts in before the episode is recorded. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to follow and subscribe wherever you are listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next episode. Speaking of which, we have a week off next week. No movie podcast next week. I'm away. But when we come back the week after, we will have the review of The Odyssey. I cannot believe it's already here. So you will not want to miss that one. Until then, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. And another special thank you to Kyle and Erin for the screener of Autonomous. I have been your host, Welchy, and joined by my co-hosts, Andy.
Yeah, thank you as always, guys. It's been a pleasure. Yeah, and again, thank you to both of them for allowing us to watch this.
And Stephen.
Yeah, thank you to Kyle and Erin as well. We're looking forward to speaking with them more about it. And next time we speak, it will be The Odyssey. It's a big one. Looking forward to seeing it and reviewing it.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the interview.